Hi everyone, it's me, Sailor Earth here, and today I want to talk about why I don't do fair use, or why I don't use stuff in fair use. Now, fair use, to my understanding, is a assumption from copyright infringement in theory, an idea, and practice. If you use material for reviewing or criticizing or commentating or for educating um you know reasons, then it is assumption and it's a fair use of the content. Now, for some reason, even though fair use is recognized and practiced, a lot of moving picture groups, farseer show groups, don't don't accept that, or they don't believe it, or for some reason they just choose to, I don't know, claim it's copyright infringement. And that's why I don't do it. Number one, I don't have any programs to take pictures or whatever the case is. Number two, I don't have any way of doing any music. Now, even though people are going to say fair use, and even though they're going to use the clips in fair use, and even though they put their disclaimers down in the description of their videos, it still does not protect them. You hear about small and even big YouTube channels getting claimed for copyright infringement when their content is being underneath the fair use. Now people are going to come up with people have their ideas, their reasons why they think this is done. One, I don't know. I mean, I'm not even sure. So that's why I don't use anything in fair use. That's why there's no fair use content being used on this channel. Now, I know someone out there is going to try to present some argument and say that the dolls and action figures are fair use. No, they are targeted for individual use, not for fair use. Okay? And the only way that would change is if I, Ernest P. Worrell, I, Sailor Earth, was being used for product placement in a farseer show or a moving picture or a play. Then it would go for trademarking agreement, for some royalty agreement. But that is a whole different story. And that's why I'm afraid of fair use, because it doesn't protect you. Now, according to the copyright law, fair use is supposed to protect you as long as you are following in the guidelines when it comes to reviewing or criticizing or commentating or educating or parroting the content. And I guess people have to, and I don't know exactly how it would constitute, to tell you the truth, because apparently there's a certain way it constitutes and certain way it doesn't. Now, people claim that underneath fair use, the clip can only be 30 seconds. Other people say that, well, I don't know. As well, that's what they say for clips from a moving picture or a farseer show. And then they say that as long as it's being reviewed or criticized or parodied or commentated on in some way or shape or form, then it's deemed as fair use and not copyright infringement. Now, if that was the case, and I'm not arguing to say it's not the case, then how come a lot of moving picture groups and farseer show groups claim it's copyright infringement? Is it because they disagree with the opinion? Do they disagree with the review or the criticism or the commentary? Do they disagree with the parody? I don't know. That's a really good question. Or do they disagree with the practice of fair use? Or do they believe that they should have full control over their content and that nobody else should be able to use it under any circumstances? I don't know. I'm not them. But the problem, because some moving pictures or farsi show groups or even play groups feel that way, you can get yourself in all kinds of trouble. You can go from being in good standing with community guidelines, terms of service, copyright, and then next day find yourself in trouble with copyright infringement, all because you fair use did Kong Skull Island and you did everything under fair use. But the creators of the moving picture disagreed with the review or the criticism or the commentary or the parody or whatever the case was. So, and most people most people don't have the time, and most people do not have the matter to go around and counter this claim, and and every time you upload a video under fair use, and then basically have to go around and defend and counter the copyright infringement claim every single time, that sounds like too much hard work. And for people like me who do not know how to counter copyright claims, or do not know what to say or what language to use, basically, or what words to use, it's basically not going to look good for me. So that's why I stay away from fair use. That's why I don't even use it. That's the reason why, even if I had pictures from Sailor Moon or whatever, that's why I don't use up printout pictures, because I'm afraid that someone's going to come along and nail me for copyright infringement when I was fair using it, and I'm not going to know how to counter it. Argue with me if you're not. Claim that, show me proof that or that I'm wrong about this. But it seems to be that even though fair use is designed to protect you from copyright infringement, a lot of people out there blatantly do not follow that law. So that's about it for me. I'm Sailor Earth Ernest. Hope you enjoyed this video. Know what I mean?